Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is June 6th. We have our May Players of the Month, and the Rockies not only won a series, they swept it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? Our first week of June is essentially in the books, first week and a half-ish. And we're starting to see some teams right now who are making some bids for potential comebacks. This is what we've been looking for from some of these teams here. And some are continuing to fall through the toilet. We're going to get into all of that and more in our series recap. But first, today is special because today is our Player of the Month. So, with that being said, let's get on into my picks for the AL Players of the Month for the month of May. So, starting off with catcher, there's only one name. Cal Raleigh. He is the big dumper. He is on the tear. He had a phenomenal month of May, hitting .304 average with 12 home runs, 26 RBIs, a 1.169 OPS. He was maybe one of the top 3 or 4 players of the month of May. He's off to an incredible start. And as we mentioned in the last episode, at this pace, is in for a historic season. So good for Cal there. For first baseman, a couple of good ones, but Carlos Santana reigned supreme, a .316 average with the Guardians, 5 home runs, 22 RBIs, and a 994 OPS, nearly a one-dotter. Santana back with his third stint with the Guardians, and he's continuing to try to be a productive bat there as they try to claw back at the Tigers. Moving on now to second base, you've got B. Lau, my guy Brandon Lau with the Tampa Bay Rays. He has been phenomenal. .281 average with 7 home runs, 16 RBIs, and a 912 OPS there. Lefty power bat. One day I always thought this guy was going to be just an outstanding player when he first came into the league, and I still think he is an outstanding player. Not as outstanding as I would have thought his career could have gone. I thought he could have maybe even had an MVP by this point. I love this guy, and I think he's an outstanding player, and in my opinion should be the All-Star for second base, which, by the way, we'll be talking about All-Stars a little bit later because that voting is now going on, so vote. But moving on here, Jose Ramirez is our third baseman for the month of May here. A .386 average is outstanding, 5 home runs, 14 RBIs, and a 1.085 OPS. He is the guy. He is the most underrated player in baseball. He is one of the best players at third base in general. Switch hitter, lots of power, great defense. Just an outstanding player, and is your May Player of the Month for third base for the AL. And speaking, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Shortstop is Jeremy Pena from the Astros. How about that? I think Pena's having a sneaky productive offensive season here. Ones that we haven't seen since, he got called up and made his debut. He got a .327 average in the month with 5 home runs, 18 RBIs, and an 898 OPS. The more you know, Pena is becoming a little bit of a big bat there in the Astros lineup, and they need big bats there. Our outfield positions are, of course, Aaron Judge, but also in the mix now is Byron Buxton, and how about Taylor Ward? The three of them taking over AL Player of the Month honors. Judge, a .364 average, 11 home runs, 18 RBIs, and a 1.251 OPS. For Buxton, on the other hand, .317 average, 4 home runs, 13 RBIs, and a 949 OPS. And then lastly, there's Taylor Ward, a .255 average with 10 home runs, 28 RBIs, and a 940 OPS. Those are your outfielders from the AL. Starting pitcher, one guy stands out the most, and his name is Kris Bubic from the Kansas City Royals. A 3-0 record in the month of May, a 0.56 ERA in 32 and a third innings pitched with 33 strikeouts. Pretty incredible stuff there from Kris Bubic there. and he is your AL pitcher of the month, in my opinion. For the rookie, I mean, this one could have easily been the shortstop altogether, but I decided to put him at the rookie and put Pena in there because the next rookie in the AL was nowhere close to Pena's numbers. Jacob Wilson from the Athletics, he's having a fantastic season and, in my opinion, is the clear favorite right now for Rookie of the Year. A 368 average, 4 home runs, 16 RBIs, and a 975 OPS. This guy's getting on base. He's getting plenty of contact, and you start to sprinkle in a couple of home runs here and there. I mean, he could be on the pace for, 15 to 20 home runs with a 310 average at the end of the year, 320 average. Like, that's pretty good for your rookie year there. So that is Jacob Wilson. And lastly, the special/DH. We're taking more of the DH route to talk about Rafael Devers with the Red Sox. I think I did this last month as well. A 356 average, 7 home runs, 33 RBIs, and a 1.074 OPS. He's been extremely good for the Red Sox, and that is your players of the month, my players of the month in the AL, which will bring us to the NL players of the month, in my opinion, for the month of May. Leading things off here, we have our catcher from the Dodgers, Will Smith. Although Dalton Rushing has been, taking over a little bit, getting a couple more appearances than Smith, he is still an elite catcher, a 370 average, 2 home runs, 13 RBIs, and a 1.018 OPS for Will Smith. Don't worry, he's not getting up on a stage anytime soon. But he's done a great job at the backstop of those Dodger rotation, those Dodger pitchers, and have been helping the Dodgers get out front and take a lead in the NL West. Of course, though, he's not the only Dodger on this list, because coming in at first baseman is Freddie Freeman, who had an outstanding month, a 410 average. 41% of the time he's getting hit. He had 4 home runs, 21 RBIs, and a 1.100 OPS for Freeman. We got 2 Dodgers so far. Will we see a third? We will not, but we will see the return of Brendan Donovan for second baseman. He still is the best second baseman in the NL. A 323 average, a home run, 7 RBIs, and an 846 OPS. He is holding down the spot there. For third baseman, how about Manny Machado from your San Diego Padres? He had a fantastic month. A 340 average, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, and a 954 OPS for him. The Padres need to get going, need to get clicking. They got an important series coming up, I think, next week. That's always fun. For the shortstop, how about Dansby Swanson from your Chicago Cubs? Of course, the Cubs have been rolling. A 293 average for him with 6 home runs, 15 RBIs, and an 855 OPS. Good stuff there. And the Cubs have plenty of other great players who had good months, just not player of the month worthy candidates here. As we head now to our outfielding spots, there are 3 guys that you should know here. First of all, being Kyle Schwarber, who we're not even in June yet, and he's already, hot right now. So you take Kyle Schwarber, you put him in the month of June, you're going to get some scary things for the Phillies. And alongside him, you'll have James Wood, the Nationals, in my opinion, just an outstanding player. Love this guy. And then Heliot Ramos as well from the Giants. So those are your 3 outfielders for the month here. Schwarber had a 288 average with 10 home runs, 20 RBIs, and a 1.047 OPS. James Wood with the Nats had a 330 average, 7 home runs, 23 RBIs, and a 1.014 OPS. And then Heliot Ramos, a 347 average, 6 home runs, 18 RBIs, a 1.007 OPS there for your outfielders for the month. As we move now to the starting pitcher, which there was some close options, but I think Robbie Ray's numbers really stand out. He has had a fantastic month and a fantastic stretch of outings recently. In the month of May, 4-1 record, a 1.38 ERA over 39 innings of work with 45 strikeouts. Remember, this is a guy who won a Cy Young with the Toronto Blue Jays just a few years ago. He's had quite the career. I think the Cy Young being kind of the peak, obviously, like no shit, but he still has had some solid starts with the Diamondbacks in his upbringing in his youth. He was okay with the Mariners. You think of the postseason home run that he gives up to Yordan Alvarez in Game 1. And obviously being hurt recently. But recently with the Giants, he's kind of, found its niche, and it's kind of looked good so far. And if he can continue at this pace, I mean, this is kind of the Robbie Ray that we saw with the Toronto Blue Jays in that one season. So good for Ray, good for him to have some feel back in his pitches. Moving on for the rookie of the month here, we're going back to LA with the Dodgers because I want to talk about Ha-Seong Kim. Remember, this guy did not come up with the team, did not make the team originally, but they signed him and they wanted him. And now that they called him up, he's making an impact, a .422 average in the month with 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and a 1.058 OPS. He's having a fantastic start to his major league career here. And that is why he is the rookie of the month for the month of May. And for special /DH, we're going the DH route because there's a certain somebody who I have to talk about because he's so freaking amazing. And his name is Shohei Ohtani, Mr. Unicorn himself. A .309 average, 15 home runs, 27 RBIs, and a 1.180 OPS. He's been phenomenal. The Dodgers, 4 players on the players of the month for May in the NL. That's how good the Dodgers are. Surprise, surprise to, absolutely nobody. Moving on here, let's get to the MLB's players of the month. We've gone over mine for the AL and the NL. Let's see what MLB has for their players of the month. In the AL, for MLB player of the month, they have Aaron Judge. Shocker. A .364 average, a 1.251 OPS, 11 home runs, 18 RBIs, yada yada. For the NL player of the month, they have Shohei Ohtani. Shocker again, a .309 average, the 1.180 OPS, 15 home runs, 27 RBIs. We talked about both these guys. For the pitcher of the month in the AL, they've gone Chris Bubic, same as myself, the 32.1 innings, the 33 Ks, a 0.56 ERA, and the 0.87 WHIP. And then for the NL pitcher, they've also gone with what I've said, which was Robbie Ray, 39 innings, 45 Ks, a 1.38 ERA, and a 0.87 WHIP, same as Bubic there. For the rookie in the AL, of course, it's Jacob Wilson. I mentioned him. He's been that great. A .368 average, 975 OPS. He had 10 extra base hits and 16 RBIs. So good stuff there. And then rookie in the NL that did not go Ha-Seong Kim. We have our first kind of difference here, and the only difference really. They went with Drake Baldwin, who's been phenomenal with the Braves, mind you. A .389 average, a 1.004 OPS, 3 home runs, and 9 RBIs. Drake Baldwin, could be moving up in the case for the Rookie of the Year, but I don't know. I like what Ha-Seong Kim did in his month there, but not to mention that Baldwin had a phenomenal month and is well deserved of the Rookie of the Month according to MLB. And then for the relievers that they do that I don't, Johan Duran is the reliever of the AL from the Twins. 15 innings, a 0.6 ERA, 20 strikeouts, and 7 saves, while on the NL side of things is Mr. Trumpet Man himself, Edwin Diaz. 11 and a third innings pitched, 0 ERA, did not give up a run the whole month of May. He had 14 Ks and 5 saves, and is your reliever on the NL. And then the team of the month, according to MLB. For catcher, you have Cal Raleigh, of course. First baseman is Freddie Freeman. Second baseman, Ketel Marte. I must have missed Marte when doing my work because, you know what? I remember he had a phenomenal month. And for some reason, I put Brendan Donovan. So I think that's a mistake on my end. I think I must have missed it when I was looking for second basemen from the NL. But yeah, Ketel Marte, a phenomenal month. Not sure why I put Brendan Donovan. That's a mistake. Anyways, third baseman, Jose Ramirez. Shortstop, Jacob Wilson. Outfielders Aaron Judge, James Wood, and Pete Crow Armstrong. Pete Crow Armstrong, of course, having a phenomenal year. Did have a great month of May. I just thought that Heliot Ramos had a little bit of a better one, but Pete Crow Armstrong, of course, also deserving of those honors. So Judge, PCA, and James Wood, basically Aaron Judge and the two rookie kids, young kids from the NL there. For DH, they have Shohei Ohtani, of course, and then starting pitcher Chris Bubich, relief pitcher Johan Duran. That is your team of the month. A mistake by me. A couple of different opinions, but yeah, that is MLB's Players of the Month, and that is the May Players of the Month altogether. So with that all being wrapped up, let's finally dive into the normals of our episode and get going with our series recap. Leading things off, we've got the Phillies and the Blue Jays. Turner and Harper hit back-to-back home runs in a crazy first. Trey Turner has a 2-homer game. David Schneider hits his first of the year for Blue Jays. And how about Addison Barger getting his 4th straight game with a home run? The Phillies, though, take this one 8-3, but the Blue Jays come back in Game 2. It's Kirk versus Romano. For years, Romano was closing out games for the Blue Jays to Kirk. And this time, the battery unit turns against him as Kirk is the walk-off hero. It's a walk-off double from Alejandro Kirk against his former teammate and former friend. They're still friends, probably. 2-1 Blue Jays there to even up the series. And in the final one, it's back-to-back 4-run innings for the Blue Jays. A 2-run home run from Bichette. It's a 9-1 final. The Jays take 2 of 3 from the Phillies. Angels and Red Sox. Zach Neto, Mike Trout, and Joe Adell all homer in the first inning. The first time 3 away players hit homers in the first inning at Fenway Park. Joe Adell hits a 2-homer game in this one. It's a 7-6 Angels the final. In Game 2, the Boston Red Sox just implode on themselves. 4 errors is not what you need from your big league team. That game went into the 10th inning before the Angels took a 4-3 victory and held on to it as they win another one. And then in the final game, Devers tied it up in the 8th, and it's Cedena Rafaela who hits the shortest walk-off home run. Just snuck it down the pesky pole. Walk-off blast from Rafaela. 11-9 Boston the final. Angels, though, take 2 of 3. Rangers and Rays. Cameron Misner and Junior Camarino both go deep in Game 1 to a 5-1 Rays win. Then it's B-Lau, Brandon Lau, getting a home run. He went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs in Game 2. The Rays had a 4-run third, helping them to a 5-4 win. And in the final game, it's Marcus Semien getting a 2-homer game from him. Jake Berger goes deep. Camarino also goes deep for the second time in the series. And the Rays somehow walk it off on a 2-run infield single. Yeah, you heard me right. 2-run infield single as the Rangers get swept in an embarrassing way. Taylor Walls hits it to Semien, and Semien just holds on to the ball, allowing 2 runners to score. I mean, what else can you say? 4-3 the final there. The Rays sweep the Rangers. Guardians and Yankees, little ALCS rematch from last season. Jazz Chisholm and Anthony Volpe go back-to-back in the 7th for the tie and then for the lead as the Yankees take a 3-2 victory. Guardians come back. Angel Martinez and Kyle Manzardo both going deep for Cleveland as they shut out the Yankees 4-0. But then it's the Yankees' turn to shut out the Guardians 4-0 the final there as well. Bellinger with a home run, need a 3 RBI day. Yankees take 2 of 3 from Cleveland. Tigers and White Sox engage in a 4-game series and enter Kerry Carpenter with not 1, not 2, but a 3-homer game for Kerry Carpenter. He's joined by Dylan Dingler and Wenzel Perez, who both go deep as well. It's all Detroit, 13-1. The White Sox come back in Game 2. Michael A. Taylor, a 3-run home run. He had a 4 RBI game. 8-1 White Sox, your final, but it's the Tigers who come back. Colt Keith breaks the tie in the 8th with a double that scores the eventual winning run as the Tigers take a 5-4 victory. And then it's the White Sox in extras in the 10th inning as Tim Elko walks it off with a walk-off single. The White Sox take a 3-2 victory and do a good job splitting the 4-game set versus Detroit 2 apiece. Twins and A's now in a 4-game sweep. The A's on another big losing streak, and it doesn't get any easier. The Twins get 6 runs in the second as that sets the pace for the game and the series. They take a 10-4 victory and come back in Game 2 with Willie Castro getting a 2-homer game. Trevor Lenarche also goes deep as the Twins take a 10-3 victory there. In Game 3, it's Ryan Jeffers and it's Harrison Bader who both go deep for a 6-1 Minnesota win as they look for the 4-game sweep after the A's just lost a 4-game sweep. And it's a 14-3 A's win as Max Muncy goes deep, not the one you're thinking of. Jacob Wilson goes deep as well. And how about Tyler Soderstrom? He gets a 2-homer game, including a grand slam. The A's end their 9-game losing streak with the win, and they salvage the 4-game series with that 14-3 win, with Minnesota taking 3 of 4. Oilers and Mariners. Tellez goes deep for Seattle, but it's Colton Cowser who goes deep for Baltimore. 5-1 O's victory. Adley then gets a home run. He needs to get going, but he helps Baltimore to a 3-2 victory. And then the O's down a run as they get their stars, Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson. Back-to-back home runs. Adley ties it. Gunners gets them the lead in the 6th inning, and they would hold on to it 4-3. The Oilers sweep the Mariners, and if Adley's hitting bombs, if Gunner's hitting bombs, who knows what Baltimore can do still. D-backs and Braves. Marte and Carroll both have 2-homer games. Ketel Marte and Corbin Carroll combined for 4. 8-3 the final there. The Diamondbacks almost throw Game 2 away. They had the bases loaded in the 9th. They walk in a run, but they hold on for the save. 2-1 D-backs the final there. And then in Game 3, we have a wild one. Acuna, Riley, and Baldwin go deep for the Braves. Marte, Gurriel, and Alec Thomas go deep for the D-backs. Arizona scores 7 in the 9th when they had a 0.1% chance to win the game. What a crazy comeback. 11-10 your final. The Diamondbacks sweep the Braves thanks to that crazy win. Rockies and Marlins. The Rockies come back from down 3 in this one. Hunter Goodman, he gets a 2-homer game, and the Rockies finally have their 10th win of the season. 6-4 your final there. In Game 2, it's Hunter Goodman again, a go-ahead home run in the 8th. The Rockies get their first series win on the season, and if that wasn't good enough, Hunter Goodman helps out with a triple to score a run in the final game as the Rockies win 3-2. That's right, the Rockies have swept a series. They sweep the Marlins. What a series for Colorado, a big turning point in their season. Crazy. Cubs and Nationals now. The Cubs get 4 runs in the 5th. Michael Busch, he goes deep in this one. 8-3 Cubs, your final. In Game 2, it's a 2-0 Nats win. Ahmed Rosario hits a solo shot in this one. And in the rubber match, PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong, and Ian Happ both go deep. Ian Happ was 3 for 6 with 4 RBIs as the Cubs take a 7-1 victory and take 2 of 3 from the Nationals. Brewers and Reds, it's Christian Yelich going his 13th home run of the season. That's a go-ahead shot, and that's the difference in the opener here as the Brewers take a 3-2 victory. In Game 2, though, it's Tyler Stevenson and Will Benson that go deep for Cincinnati. It's a 4-2 Reds win to even up the series, but in the last game, it's Jackson Chourio, it's Daz Cameron, and it's Isaac Collins all going deep for Cameron, his first of the year. 9-1 Brewers as they take 2 of 3 from the Reds. Royals and Cardinals now in a 3-game set here. The Royals take a 10-7 victory as Bobby Witt, Nick Lofton go deep for the Royals. Gorman and Burleson went deep for the Cardinals, but the Royals scored 6 runs in the 5th to take a comeback victory. 10-7 the final there. The second game gets rained out on the Wednesday, which means it's a doubleheader on the Thursday. The Cardinals take Game 1 of the doubleheader, although it was Royals heavily. India with the home run. And how about Jack Caglione getting his first MLB hit and RBI, a double down the line. But this one ends with Wilson Contreras in his 1,000th game hitting a walk-off single in extras to win it 6-5 the final there. And in the other game, it's Miguel Garcia, it's Freddie Fermin. They both go deep as the Royals take a 7-5 victory and take 2 of 3 from the Cardinals. Astros and Pirates now. The Astros open up this series with 2 home runs with Christian Walker and Isaac Paredes going deep. It's 3-0 Astros, your final there. The Pirates come back with their own 3-0 win, a couple of singles to help out there. Even up the series, and in the final game, it's Isaac Paredes, the guy, with a 2-homer game. He has 3 homers in the series. Astros win it 8-2 and take 2 of 3 from the Pirates. Padres and Giants now. It's a 4-game series here. The first 2 games went into extras. The first one in the 10th inning, 0-0. Jose Iglesias, a sac fly, the only run of this game. 1-0 Padres, your final there. In game 2, Machado, a 2-run single, tied it in the 9th. And then Jake Cronenworth getting a single for the run in the 10th inning. They hold the Giants 3-2 Padres, your final there. But then the Giants come back in this series. They score 6 unanswered after falling down 5 in the third game. Matt Chapman with a home run. The Giants take 6-5 victory. And in the final game of this series, Machado hits his 350th career home run. But how about Dominic Smith helping out the Giants? I didn't even know he was on the Giants. It's a 2-run double for the lead, and the Giants hold it from there. 3-2 the finals. The Padres take the first 2. Giants take the last 2. They split the 4-game set 2 apiece. And that brings us to lastly the Mets and the Dodgers. It's an NLCS rematch from the last postseason. The Mets take game 1 4-3 in extras in the 10th inning. Lindor goes deep, Ohtani goes deep, but the Mets score 2 in the 10th, the Dodgers 1 and take the opener. In game 2, it's Max Muncy. Are you kidding me? He gets a 2-homer game, including a game-tying home run in the 9th down to the last couple of outs. Freddie Freeman, he gets a walk-off double in the 10th as the Dodgers take a 6-5 victory to even up the series. Enter the polar bear man himself, Pete Alonso, getting a 2-homer game in game 3. He had 5 RBIs as the Mets take a 6-1 victory. He is definitely the difference in that one. He would also go deep in the final game alongside Brandon Nimmo and Starling Marte, but despite 3 Mets home runs, the Dodgers still come back and win this one 6-5, your final there without a home run needed. So the Dodgers and Mets split the 4-game set 2 apiece, and that's your series recap. Alrighty, now let's dive into the game of the week, and there's a clear option here. Arizona, Atlanta, the final game of this series. An insane comeback. Bottom of the second, the Braves get things going. Alex Verdugo, an RBI double. And then in the third, it's a 5-run inning for Atlanta. Austin Riley, a single. Matt Olson, an RBI double. Ozuna, a 2 RBI double. And then Albies, an RBI double. So the Braves are hit in frenzy here. They're up 6-0 after 3. But the Diamondbacks get on the board in the top of the 4th. Perdomo, an RBI double. Then Josh Naylor, a 2 RBI single, cuts the lead in half from 6-0 to 6-3. Bottom 5, Austin Riley goes deep. His 11th of the year solo shot puts the Braves up 4. And then the next inning in the bottom of the 6th, it's Acuna and Drake Baldwin who go back-to-back. Acuna hits his 4th. Baldwin hits his 7th. And those back-to-back solo shots put the Braves up 6. Once again, it's 9-3. Top of the 8th, Ketel Marte hits his 11th home run on the season. It's a 5-run game, and he puts it 9-4. Bottom of the 8th, though, the Braves get that run right back. Michael Harris, the second, an RBI single. It's 10-4 as we enter the top of the 9th, down by 6 with a 0.1 chance to win the game. Arizona does the unthinkable. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., homer number 9 on the season. The solo shot, it's 10-5. Alec Thomas gets his second home run of the season. It's a 2-run shot. It's 10-7. All of a sudden, Ketel Marte, an RBI single. It's 10-8. Ildemaro Vargas with an RBI single. It's 10-9. Runners at third and second. Eugenio Suarez hits one down the line. It's a fair ball. 1 run scores. We are tied. 1 run scores. The Diamondbacks have the lead. Suarez, the 2 RBI double to tie and take the lead in this one. And then the Diamondbacks hold it. A 7-run ninth to come back to complete the sweep over the Braves. Just outstanding stuff. Who, by the way, after this game, the Braves called up Craig Kimbrell, which is hilarious. That's your game of the week. So now let's get into the baseball news and talk about what happened this week. The big one being the Rockies have won a series. Not only did they win a series, they swept a series. How good is that gotta be? How good does that have to feel if you're a Rockies fan? I mean, this is just the start of what could be an incredible win streak to put the Rockies back to 500. No, let's be honest. The Rockies, as I said, I think last episode or even 2 episodes ago, the only thing the Rockies are playing for at this point is to not break the White Sox record. Even between the Rockies right now, who are 30th, and the White Sox, who are 29th, there's a difference of 8 games. 7.5. It's substantial already for the bottom feeders here. So unless the White Sox go on a crazy losing streak while the Rockies, get a couple wins here and there, it is what it is. But the Rockies, they snapped their 22 straight series losses. They finally get a series win, and it's a sweep. It's their first sweep in over a year, and it's the second time this season that they've had a win streak. They had a 2-game win streak on April 30th and May 1st. They won against the Braves on the 30th and then the 1st against the Giants. That was their only time this season so far. They've won back-to-back games, and now they have their longest win streak at 3 games. They sweep the Marlins. That's got to be a great feeling. Could they push it to 4? They're home. They're hosting the Mets, but they have Kodai Senga on the mound. So, could the Rockies win a 4th straight game? Who knows? But it's fun to see this, for the Rockies, and it's a good moment for them, I would say. It's a highlight of the season so far. MLB and Rob Manfred has proposed, or will propose, that the ABS system, the automatic balls and strike system, will be proposed and potential for the 2026 season at the major league level. This is very fun and very exciting. At first, I was like, oh yeah, this is fantastic. This is great. I love the ABS system. And I still kind of lean that way overall. But then I hear some of the, the more pure, the more the strong-headed baseball fans are like, no, this is the umpires in their errors are part of the game and blah, blah, blah. And I get that to a level, but this doesn't change that because the ABS system, it's going to be very interesting to see how teams kind of use this system because you only get 2. Obviously if you keep getting them right, but if you keep getting them right, then you don't want your game to go sideways. Umpires will still have to make these calls and still have to do their best, but we're seeing some calls, just outrageous. There's some calls I've seen this year where the ball's not even close to the plate. It's not even on the plate. Backdoor sliders that are so far outside, 3 to 4 inches, and they're still being called strikes. Heck no. We've seen players get ejected for this. Taylor Walls did it a couple days ago where he didn't like a strike call. Walked out of the box, was fixing his helmet, and then did a little double tap of his helmet there, and the umpire threw him out of the game right there. He went mental. But no, it's, yes, umpire mistakes are part of the game, sure. But at the same time, too, there becomes a limit on what is deemed a mistake. Some of these calls cannot be mistakes. They have to be purposely shitty calls. So, to each their own. I'm excited for the ABS system if it comes into play in 2026. It's not going to slow down the game too much. If we have a game where there's 23 calls, 23 ABS systems were used in this game, fire the umpire then, because obviously he's shit at his job. What are we doing? So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see how it comes up, and hopefully it does, break into the 2026 season. So yeah, good stuff there. Mentioning here, Wade Miley signs a deal with the Reds, and the Giants DFA Lamonte Wade Jr. Both interesting moves here. Wade Miley, of course, long-time, pitcher in general. I mean, debuted in 2011. Here we are in 2025. A 15-year career with 18 WAR points. He's been with the Reds before. He spent a couple seasons there with Cincinnati in 2020 and 21. And so far, already this year, he's made an appearance, came out of the bullpen for 2 innings and gave up 4 earned runs. So not the start he wants, but the Reds are hoping that the veteran lefty will be able to settle their bullpen down, maybe help in the rotation, but also help some of their younger talent. So Wade Miley is going to the Reds. And then Lamonte Wade Jr. was DFA'd by the Giants. These ones are always surprising to me because Lamonte Wade, I mean, he was a face. He was a household name for the Giants. He was a big part of that 2021 crazy Giants season, And I mean, you look at his last 4 years, from 2021 to 2024, he had 6.4 WAR. He had 326 hits. He had 51 home runs, 161 RBIs, and a 767 OPS. That's a solid player and a solid ball player for your team. This year has not gone his way. In 50 games, he has 24 hits, only 1 home run, and 15 RBIs. He has a 167 batting average and a 546 OPS. He has no options, so the Giants have decided that enough's enough, and we will DFA him. I'm sure there will be a team that will take a chance on this guy. I mean, like I said, you look at those last 4 seasons combined, a 767 OPS is a guy that you want to have on your team still, and a guy who can hit, 248, 51 home runs. He's been clutch for the Giants. He had plenty of walk-offs and key hits and key moments to help the Giants win some games. So I'm sure Giants fans are a little upset about it. I know, obviously, like I said, he has had a really poor, first 2 months of the season here, but he's still been a guy since coming over and joining San Francisco in 2021. So, interesting to see that. But Wade DFA'd, we'll see where he ends up. And Wade Miley joining the Reds. Last bit of news here to mention, a couple of team things. We mentioned that the Diamondbacks was able to sweep the Braves. They had a crazy comeback. It always seems like Diamondbacks having some crazy comeback and crazy games. The Diamondbacks wins them at the weirdest games. But they are on a 4-game winning streak now. They're back to 500, 31-31, as they try to chase back down, the gap they've dropped in the West, in the wild cards. The Diamondbacks are looking to get on a streak here, get rolling. The A's, their streak has gone completely opposite way. You go back to the 12th when we did that episode Monday, May 12th. I'm pretty sure they were a playoff team, or maybe on the 9th, because that was when I would have done playoff predictors. So yeah, you go back to the 9th, nearly a month ago. The A's are a fun playoff team. Since then, essentially, in their last 22 games, they're 2-22. They've gone on a 9-game losing streak just now that they've broke, and an 11-game losing streak that they had to break. 2-22 in their last 22. They haven't won a series since the start of May versus the Marlins. And their season's gone from, hey, we're fun and we've got all this talent, to 24-40, and we're 10 games out of the wild card. It's been a catastrophic decline for the A's here, which just sucks because they have a lot of fun players and a lot of guys that I like. I actually saw them recently, got to see Tyler Soderstrom hit a couple home runs, Shea Langeliers, Brent Rooker, Lawrence Butler. They have a lot of notable names. For me, it's still the pitching that, you kind of get the question marks. And when you look at some of the losses that they had, I mean, they lost 10 games against the Twins. The Twins put up 10 runs on Monday, 10 runs on Tuesday. The Blue Jays put up 8 runs twice, 11 runs, 12 runs. Astros put up 11 runs. Phillies put up 9 runs. Angels put up 10 runs twice. Dodgers put up 19 runs, 9 runs. So it's really been high-scoring affairs against these A's. So it definitely seems like the pitching is more of the problem, because the A's can kind of hold their own, but there becomes a point where too many runs are too many runs. You know, the games that they're losing here, they're scoring 5 runs, 6 runs, 7 runs. You know, like they're scoring runs. They're giving up too many in return. So the A's, a little bit of a downward spiral. And then how about Baltimore? Is it too little, too late? That will be the question we will ask here as we keep seeing Baltimore on the rise here. Back-to-back sweeps. They're on a 6-game winning streak, 8-2 in their last 10. They're 25-36. Still would have ways to go, but there's still plenty of time. When you see 7.5 back of the wild card, that is still very open for June. You know, so if Baltimore keeps going, if Baltimore can get, let's say, 10 to 15 wins on this winning streak, if they can keep this going for another sweep, if they sweep this weekend, and then into the next week. If we're talking about a week from today, Baltimore's on a 13-game winning streak. They're back. You know, like they're immediately back. I think that's a key thing. So good for Baltimore. I think there's still hope if they can keep this winning streak alive. If they can, you know, if they lose a game, they immediately get back on a 3-4 game winning streak. If Baltimore can do that, they can start making up ground. Should be a good time there. This episode is already running long, so let's get through our injury updates here. Going over Luke Weaver from the Yankees on the 15-day IL with a strained hamstring. Corbin Burns on the 15-day IL, elbow inflammation there. Mark Vientos, 10-day IL, right hamstring strain. Jordan Hicks, 15-day IL with toe inflammation. Pablo Lopez, 15-day IL, a strained shoulder. Yoan Moncada, 10-day IL, knee inflammation. Max Mayer, 15-day IL with hip impingement. Hunter Green on the 15-day IL with a strained groin. Lindor has a broken pinky toe, but is considered day-to-day, and he will try to play through his broken pinky. And then Jason Foley lands on the 60-day IL for shoulder surgery. He is done for the rest of 2025, so bit of a blow to the Tigers bullpen there. Which brings us now to our outstanding performances. Logan Webb for the Giants, 8 innings of work, 6 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 7 Ks. Paul Skeens, 8 innings, 3 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 8 Ks, and yet somehow lost that game because Lance McCullers Jr. was great as well. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 7 Ks. Carlos Rodon, 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 8 Ks. He's been very good recently. Mackenzie Gore, 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 7 Ks. Chris Sales, 6 innings, 3 hits, an earned run, 4 walks, and 10 strikeouts there. Merrill Kelly, 7 innings pitched, a hit, no earned runs, a walk, and 8 Ks. Griffin Canning's been great. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 7 Ks. Chris Bassett, 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, and 6 Ks. And then lastly, Max Fried, 6 innings, a hit, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 7 Ks. Just good stuff all along there. As we get now to our stat leaderboard, couple changes. Aaron Judge still leading an average at 392. He still leads in hits at 89. We have a new home run leader, big dumper. Cal Raleigh's got 24 home runs on the year. New RBI leader, Pete Alonso with 55. Runs is Shohei with 65 still. Walks, it is no longer Marcelo Zuna. It's a tie between Rafael Devers and Juan Soto. Both of them have 50 walks on the year. Stolen bases, it's back to O'Neal Cruz with 22. And then Aaron Judge on OPS, obviously 1.251. He's up. For pitchers, for wins, it is still the same guys instead of Brennan Pfaadt, though. He is still at 7. But Hunter Brown, Max Fried, Robbie Ray, and Carlos Rodon, who are all tied with him at 7. All 4 of those guys are now at 8. So it's a 4-way tie for 8. Two of those guys being Yankees and Giant and an Astro. That's fun. ERA, new leader, Chris Bubich. We mentioned him, pitcher of the month for May in the AL. His ERA now is a 1.43. He's been great. Mackenzie Gore, still doing a fantastic job leading in Ks. I'm surprised no one's passed him. He's been great. 108 strikeouts for him so far. And then for saves, it is no longer a tie between Munoz and Suarez. It is just Robert Suarez, who has 19 saves on this season. For our upcoming series for the weekend, if you're curious about the baseball that's happening, the Marlins will play Tampa Bay. We got the Battle of Florida there. Red Sox and Yankees, the rivalry. That's always a fun one. Blue Jays at Twins, Cubs at Tigers, Royals at White Sox, Astros at Guardians, O's at A's, Mariners at Angels, Rangers at Nationals, Phillies at Pirates, the Poop Series, Padres at Brewers, D-backs at Reds, Dodgers at Cardinals, Mets at Rockies, and then the Braves at the Giants. Those are your upcoming series here. And that will get us to our playoff predictor. If the season ended today, the Rays are in the 6 seed, the Astros in the 3 seed, Guardians in the 5 seed, Twins in the 4 seed. The Guardians beat the Twins, the Astros beat the Rays. So our ALDS matchups would be the Astros at the Yankees and the Guardians at the Tigers. Astros beat the Yankees, Tigers beat the Guardians. So our NLCS matchup is Astros at Tigers, and that is the Houston Astros that will upset Detroit and head to the World Series. On the NL side, the Giants in the 6 seed taking on the Dodgers in the 3 seed. That's a great series. Padres in the 5 seed taking on the Phillies in the 4 seed. Dodgers beat the Giants. Padres beat the Phillies. So our NLDS matchups, Dodgers at Mets, Padres at Cubs. Some fun ones there. The Mets beat the Dodgers. The Cubs beat the Padres. So we have a Mets and Cubs NLCS matchup, and the Mets will beat the Cubs. They will head to the World Series. So it's an orange World Series. Astros at Mets. And it is your Houston Astros on a little bit of a Cinderella story run. They are your 2025 World Series champions if the season ended today. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for us here today. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining, clicking on the episode, tuning in. A bit of a long one thanks to our players of the month. But what else do you expect? Thank you all, and I will see you on Monday.